So today we got the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Direct. It was 10 minutes of gameplay presented by Eiji Aonuma, and we've been waiting for this Direct for a long time, and it's kind of weird that it's coming out so close to the game's release. And I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I'm not as hyped as I would like to be. Now that's not to say that anything that they showed was necessarily bad, just a little strange. And I endorse strange ideas. They're new and they push the industry in new directions, unexpected directions. But for a follow-up of Breath of the Wild, is this enough? Well, let's look at the Direct and see what they showed off. So we start off with a very familiar looking Hyrule with the new Link riding a horse. The first thing that stood out to me is just how lackluster the visuals are. I mean, I'm not like the biggest graphic hound on the planet, but I do like things to be a smooth frame rate and at least 1080p. But here you can just tell that the Switch is just completely limited. And the visual style of Breath of the Wild lends itself to upscaling higher resolutions very well. So to see this right off the bat in 2023 is a little disappointing. Hey, you can see Sky Islands up there. This is honestly a really creative way to extend the life of the Hyrule map that they have already made. And in one demonstration, they showed us not only one way that we're going to get up to the islands, but also a new power of Link's as well. We did see it in a previous trailer, but it's nice to see an additional gameplay application here. Aonuma did say that there were various methods to reach the Sky Island, so it's going to be interesting to see what those are. It's funny, in this little combat demonstration, I could just hear the collective whining of all the Zelda boomers whenever Link's tree branch broke, letting them know that the durability is here to stay. Honestly, this never really bothered me much. Would it be nice that there's like a blacksmith or some way to reforge a weapon or repair a weapon? Sure, but I mean, who really cares? Because now we could just fuse weapons together. The fuse power is really goofy looking. I honestly was laughing out loud when I saw Link stick this big boulder to the end of this little branch. And honestly, I can see this tying into more game mechanics because the Master Sword's broken, so we're probably going to end up having to fuse some kind of MacGuffin or MacGuffins to it to power it up and or change it into a new Master Sword. Being able to make a super long spear though, that's awesome. Does it look silly? Yup, yes it does. When they got to the Arofusing section, this was a little head scratching to me. On one hand, I really like that you can just makeshift arrows on the fly with materials you gather from enemies that you more or less wouldn't really be using for anything else. But the eyeball arrow thing I found a little goofy. On one hand, it's nice to have an accessibility option for those who feel they're not capable of landing a shot on a moving target like that, but it kind of begs the question, why? You're creating a solution for a problem that probably should have been fixed with just a new targeting system. I just wish that they would cut down on the time that you spend in menus in this game. I found it a little excessive in Breath of the Wild, and to see them not move away from it is a little underwhelming. But hey, getting more utility out of the items we collect throughout the game, I'm all for it. Now the next power that they showed off, Ultra Hand. I love that word, Ultra Hand. This power allows you to meld things you find in the world together to build makeshift vehicles, rafts, platforms, accountants, cars. I could just see it now. Someone using Ultra Hand to recreate Hyrule Castle in Breath of the Wild right next to Hyrule Castle. In the clip, we see Aonuma make a boat that can just go in one direction, but we have seen in other clips that Link has a little steering wheel. That's probably an upgrade we get later on in the game. But still, they showed off a plethora of vehicles and other traversal means that we can build ourselves. And I see this being directly inspired by a lot of those early videos of players stacking minecarts together and using the magnesis ability to fly around. Now the last ability that they showed off in the gameplay trailer was Ascend, and the applications for this are very far-reaching. Being able to go from a cave to the top of whatever the cave is enclosed in, pretty cool. And this is probably how Link got out of the cave that we see him and Zelda in with the first trailer where they find the mummified Ganon. Last little bit shows Aonuma getting pushed off the Sky Island by this door-wielding golem. and Link falls a great distance, but it's a seamless transition from the Sky Islands to the ground of Hyrule. And as Link's falling, you can see all these points of interest. But yeah, that's all they really showed off. I'm kind of glad that they kept it brief and they just showed us the main tools we'll be using to interact with their game. Because if it's anything like Breath of the Wild, they're gonna take these base tools but constantly be adding complex puzzles that we're gonna have to figure out. And this game seems more like a sandbox than any other Zelda game. But what's funny to me is that the game is coming out in like a little over a month, and we still know so little about it. Yeah, you can look around and try to guess at what these things are, but they haven't told us much of anything. They just showed us, here are the tools you're gonna get, and this is how you can use them a little bit. They haven't shown any dungeons, no bosses, and the story's probably gonna be, well, Ganon broke the Master Sword, captured Princess Zelda, now you have to fix your sword and go save her, with the help of who the hell ever this green arm belonged to. But yeah, like I said, I'm just not feeling as excited as I thought I would be. And maybe that will change the closer we get to the release, but as of right now, it just kinda looks like Breath of the Wild DLC, minus the Sheikah Slate. Which I guess really isn't that bad. I mean, I love Breath of the Wild, so I'm all for just more, but it's been so long. But I'm more than ready to be proven wrong, and I hope they do. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. You guys let me know if you're excited, what you'd like to see, what you don't want to see, and I'll see you in the next one.